Ladies and gentlemen, in this video I would like to do a short comparison between two trailers released recently for two very interesting games. First one is The Witcher 4, released about a month ago during the Game Awards. And the second one is a new IP called The Blood of Dawnwalker by a studio Rebel Wolves. Created by former employees of CD Projekt Red, the creators of the Witcher series of games, and both games are direct competitors of each other. Both are aiming at the same audience. Both games are action RPGs. In a setting inspired by medieval Europe, especially Eastern and Central Europe. Both have very Slavic vibes. And also this creates very interesting situation where former employees are competing with their previous employer and some previous colleagues. So before I start the comparison, I would like to show you the trailer for the previous game in the Witcher series, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So this trailer starts with a soldier reading out the sentence for a woman accused of killing wounded soldiers, looting, and cannibalism. And the soldiers are preparing to hang her. That is when our protagonist, Geralt, shows up. He is returning from a quest that he was probably doing for the soldiers. He gives them a head of the monster and receives payment for this. And he is about to leave when he notices that the soldiers are treating their prisoners very poorly. They are very brutal about this whole execution. And he eventually decides to go back and help her. And this creates this moral dilemma. Should he help her? The world is very gray. Sometimes the character and the player needs to choose the lesser evil. On the one hand, we have soldiers that are unnecessarily brutal towards her. She is about to be hanged, so there is no reason to beat her up unless they are trying to revenge their comrades that apparently she killed. On the other hand, we have the woman that did something horrible and unacceptable in a civilized society. And we don't know what made her do it. It's possible that she was just this desperate and perhaps starving, and she did this just to survive. Geralt in the trailer decided to help her, and by doing that it's possible that those killings and cannibals would continue, and perhaps some other people will join her now that there are less people that could punish them. And the difficult choices like this is what made the Witcher games so good, in my opinion. And the trailer really shows that element of the game very well. Now let's take a look at the trailer for The Blood of Dawnwalker. It starts with a man running away holding a child in his arms. In the distance we can see a village burning. I'm not going to comment about the graphics and the soundtrack of both trailers. In my opinion, they both look very good. I would like to focus more about the story of the trailers. So the man finds this ruins of a church, and he attempts to hide in them, but he is caught by some soldiers. This is where we get the information that his sister that he's trying to protect has some kind of plague, and the soldiers are chasing her because they want to stop the spread of this plague by basically killing everyone that is ill. And it is possible that both he and his sister would be killed here, if not for the vampires, the group of vampires that shows up and kills all the soldiers. The leader of the vampires decides to help him, and he heals his sister. And this situation also creates this moral dilemma. On the one hand, we have the king or the local lord and his soldiers that just want to stop the plague. Their methods might be a bit drastic, but we cannot really say that they are 100% evil in this situation. And then we have the group of vampires. Their leader does something good. He heals the sister of the protagonist. And on the other hand, they are monsters after all, blood-sucking monsters. So siding with them is not a moral choice, 100% moral choice to make. So in the Witcher 3 trailer, we have Geralt at the very end saying, I'm killing monsters. And in this game, we have a protagonist siding with monsters for the good of his own family. Obviously, he might not have much choice in this situation, but still, you don't really have a clear good side and evil side in this scenario. Now let's take a look at the trailer for The Witcher 4. It starts with some kind of preparation. It looks like a young woman is prepared for some kind of ritual, maybe her wedding or something like that. But later it's revealed that it's actually something completely different. She is prepared to be sacrificed as an offering for some kind of deity that lives in the forest. And her father gives her some last farewell, and then some villagers noticed the Witcher. This time the main protagonist is one of the characters from the previous game, Ciri. She is when one of the villagers asks whose coin did she take, he looks at the father of the girl, implying that that was probably him who hired the Witcher. So later Ciri follows the girl into the woods, and she confronts her and tells her to go back and that she will deal with this problem by herself. And she enters this cave, and there she meets the monster. After a short fight, she is able to defeat the enemy, and she goes back into the village, where she finds out that the girl was stabbed by the villagers. So she was basically killed for not fulfilling her duty towards the gods worshipped in the village. And the trailer ends with Ciri saying that there are no gods here, only monsters, which is direct reference to the trailer for the previous game. So it's very clear that the creators of this trailer really wanted to capture the same feeling of the previous game. In my opinion, they kind of fail at this task. It seems like they completely don't understand what the Witcher franchise is all about. Since here there are no real moral ambiguity and moral dilemma. We have very clear picture who is the bad guys in this situation. Obviously, the good side in this situation is the father of the girl who hired Witcher to protect his daughter. And the evil side are the rest of the villagers who worship some evil monster in the forest as their deity. And they try to sacrifice innocent young girls. There is nothing great in this situation. If that was one of the quests in the game, the decision would be very simple. You can say that the villagers were doing this to protect their village from this deity, but the decision to kill the monster solves all the problems. It would both protect the village and possibly save the life of the girl if she wasn't killed by the peasants. So we have here a very clear divide between the main protagonist, who is the side of good, and possibly the father, and the dumb evil peasants who have very backwards beliefs and believe some kind of fairy tales about some gods living in the forest and who are performing human sacrifices for it. That's why I think that the people responsible for this trailer don't really understand this franchise. And the trailer for The Blood of Dawnwalker seems to me like it feels more like Witcher game than The Witcher 4. And that's why I'm much more excited for the game by the Rebel Wolves. The Witcher 4 trailer was met with a kind of mixed reception from the players. Obviously, it has a lot of views, a lot of likes. People seem to be excited for it, but also there are a lot of complaints. Most of the complaints seem to be about how Siri looks like, which a lot of people are reposting this one frame of her looking not very appealing, and I don't think that's a huge deal. Obviously, I preferred her looks in the previous game, and since that is very early first look, honestly she didn't really look that bad, but still that might change until the release date, so that is not a huge complaint. The second one was that Siri is now the protagonist. That is quite controversial decision because of the lore and stuff like that, and that obviously can be a huge problem for a lot of people, a lot of fans of the books and the world itself, but no one seemed to be really pointing out this lack of understanding of the source material and the previous works in the franchise. That's why the game by the competitors about vampires seems more like a continuation, maybe not direct, but more like a spiritual continuation of Witcher 3 than Witcher 4. Personally, I hope that both of the games will succeed. After all, both of them are made in Poland by Polish studios, and that makes me happy that my country makes so many popular games, AAA titles, contributing not only to our economy but also increasing our soft power. And that's why I really hope that the CD Projekt Red will go back on the track and start heading in the right direction, and eventually they will release a very good game. And also I hope that Rebel Wolves will be able to deliver great game, that this will not be like a flash in the pan, but they will deliver a decent game. After all, having two very popular franchises is better than having only one. So that's all, and thank you for watching.